There you go.
Let's do it. Welcome.
That's right. Welcome, everybody, to, well, some of you guys may not even know what this is, but to the relaunch of the Leftovers podcast.
I'm excited.
So for those of you guys who don't know, we used to do a podcast called The Leftovers. And why did we call it The Leftovers?
Because if you're still hungry, you can come back for more.
Come on, get some.
Yeah.
That's right.
So there's just a lot to be said after a sermon. You can only fit so much into a message.
Yeah.
And we, anytime that you're in the middle of a series, there's just like, we're not just trying to feed you on a Sunday morning. It's trying to get into your DNA and trying to make it into the rhythm of your life. And so the best way to do that is to eat leftovers at 2 a.m, spiritually speaking. And that's what this is.
There you go, spiritually speaking.
Yeah.
So listen, welcome to those of you guys who are tuning in. We know that as you're watching this, it is snowing, cold outside, and some of you guys are probably cuddled up in your living rooms. Maybe you guys are watching this in your pajamas from your bed, and so which is why we set up this awesome living room scene here just to make it feel more cozy. And so we love you guys. Pastor Carl and I wanted to prepare something for you guys because we knew of this weather, and then so we're going to do it a little differently, where I'm not going to preach. Again, we're going to do this podcast style.
I got questions.
And you got questions.
You got answers.
And Jesus has answers. And then maybe even we could talk about an application question that they may even be able to discuss there at home. So any guys, welcome to today. And man, Pastor Carl, you're going to lead us off.
I do so badly. First, I just want to say how thankful I am for technology and the AV team.
Yes.
I thank God every day.
Come on, somebody.
That we're not Amish. Because none of this would be possible.
Oh, I was going to say, because then you'd have to grow out your beard.
That is one of the reasons. The second reason is that none of this would be possible.
That's true.
If we were Amish. And if you think that's offensive, they're not going to hear any of this. So they're not. Unless they're listening on like a Milwaukee Bluetooth speaker.
Oh my God.
Because I have seen that at job sites. But if they do hear it, they shouldn't be. So, so I'm excited. I'm excited to do it in this format and keep everybody safe.
Did you want to shout out one of your Amish boys?
Jebediah, Jebediah 2, Jebediah 3, Jedediah, Obadiah. We should move on from this segment right here. And if you join us next week, we will have an Amish co-host.
Oh my gosh!
So just to show that we're unbiased, we really should move on from this section.
Move on
I'm so excited to get into this. We're in the middle of this sermon season, which we're calling it that because you said John Chastain is the one who gifted us with that phrase.
Yeah. One of my friends just came up with that phrase of like sermon seasons, and the reason is because just like with regular natural seasons, you really can't say spring starts here, winter stops there. Man, we just want to be a people who are led of the Lord. And so we don't want to put time blocks on these series. And so maybe the Lord might cause us to go long. Maybe the Lord would just say, hey, just speak about this for 2 weeks. And so in these seasons, we just want them to be spirit led.
I love that. And you always seem to have your finger on the pulse of what it is that we as a congregation need, which I love. We seem to have like a very rhythmic and united sense about us as a congregation. And so generally what one of us needs, we all need. And so this new sermon season is called The Church. And, I'm thrilled about this because it was probably my mid to late 20s when I was just in a cynical funk about church as a concept. And it took me a while before, we all thrive with clear instructions and clear direction. To get a clear understanding of what Christ's purpose was for the church, is for the church, present tense. And it just illuminated, it changed, the big church concept changed how I did small church here. Yeah. And it just went from something that was a challenge to something that was a privilege. And that's what I want for the congregation too. That's what I want for CLC, to recognize CLC or to recognize church, big C and little c, as something that we get to do. A wonderful and beautiful thing. This is the bride of Christ.
Yeah, amen.
And so, I just have some questions. If I'll recap some of your points from the sermon, questions for you.
Yeah, you want to go through one?
Yeah, 100%. That'd be great. So, the first thing that you said, you had mentioned about the plurality of the church. You gave a definition of what the church is. You said an assembly of people who are called out by God. So when Jesus said, if I remember correctly, you said when Jesus said, I will build my church. Yeah. That the word that he used, ecclesia, is that right?
Ecclesia, yeah.
Ecclesia, sorry. I'm not Greek.
You sure?
Okay. That's my nose. And when you said, You said that so subtly. Whatever. It's a plural thing, an assembly of people who are called out by God.
Yeah.
And this is hard. It's devoid of self. It means being united with like a group of people, and that is a difficult concept. And you made the point, obviously, that the church is a gathering, an assembly of people who are called by God. Why is that such an important thing to know?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think, you and I were talking about this earlier, and man, we live in a really individualistic society, right? Where it's all about me, my career, my dreams, what I want to do, my thoughts, my opinions, my leanings. And honestly, that's the way that we do everything. We do family that way too. We view family as a launching pad for me to fulfill my purpose rather than a unit to stick with together, right?
Wow.
Everything is just individualistic. And so, so when we talk about the church being a gathering of people, right, that Greek word ecclesia comes from the Greek word kaleo, which means, again, right, to call out, or the called out ones, called out by God, right? It's a gathering of people. And so there's plurality there. And I think what we're battling against is that individualism. There's a lot of really good, well-meaning Christians that unfortunately say dumb things, and I said that, like last Sunday. And one of the things that a misconception that we have is like we say things like, "Well, I am the church," and you're a child of God individually, right? But when you look at that definition of the word church, again, it's gathering,
It's the
assembly. There's plurality there. It's not singular; it's plural. And so I think what this goes to show is that if you and I are going to fulfill God's definition or God's desire of His church, it's meant to be done in community, in unity together, gathering together. And I'll tell you what, man, like this is really hard to do in today's culture. So I think you even brought up too, just with the rise of social media, you always have the the comparison culture.
Yeah, for sure.
And you got to put up your facade, which only adds to more layers between people getting together. You also have the rise of just, social anxiety, just even different thoughts.
It almost seems strategic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Almost seems strategic by the enemy. And so, when God says, I will build my church, He doesn't say I'm going to build this building.
Yeah.
God says, man, I'm going to build up the gathering of my people. Like that's what He means by the church.
Yeah.
And so again, if we're going to fulfill God's desire of church, it's not me sitting alone, at a coffee shop, just reading my Bible every single week, but it's literally me gathering with you, me getting together with other people, our wives getting together for coffee and then going out getting their nails done. You know what I mean? Like the church, we can do that. You can do that. But I have I don't want people touching my feet. So that's all good.
It's all good.
Yeah.
You said nails done. You're the one assuming pedicure.
I just go there right away because it's a deep fear. But anyway, way to get us off track.
So what I hear you saying, no, this is all right. So what I hear you saying, all the things that make it difficult for us to engage in the plurality concept of the church.
Yeah.
Culturally, we're up against it because the culture celebrates individuality.
100%. Yeah.
Personally, spiritually, we're up against it because how do we be united when like our instinct, our nature is to cover up? We are incapable of being united because we're born into sin.
Yeah.
Genesis teaches us the very first thing Adam and Eve do when they sin is to cover up.
Yeah.
And then to hide. And this is how we do it with everybody and everything. From the moment we first discover sin, and it makes it difficult to engage in any kind of genuine community. Mm-hmm. And so this is one of the things I think that you do really well is you take a really spiritual concept and you make it very practical. So I'm a member of the congregation. Mm-hmm. What is the most practical way that you can tell me how to do this very foreign concept of being the church verb?
Yeah.
Little c in my community. How do I be the church?
Yeah. It's really good. I think easy is you start with a 2-letter word. Said hi. to other people. Actually saying hi to somebody on a
Yeah.
Sunday morning.
Yeah, okay.
And then from there, introducing yourself, right?
Yeah.
Last week, we practiced praying for each other at the end of it, which, was a little bit of a mixed bag because some people, they've never really prayed for
Yeah.
somebody else before. But I would just say, even just starting off by introducing yourself to somebody and saying hi, you're glad to see them. I mean, that's a very, very base level. But in order for you to start practicing and engaging with it, I would just even say there's so many different things that you can do. I would say that we have this awesome thing called community groups,
Yeah.
which I know a lot of them right now are kind of
Shameless
dormant because of the shameless plug, but Watch It Be was really good. But a lot of them right now are just not active because of the weather. A lot of them are activity based. But I would say this, that you don't need to wait for community groups to start being the church. Invite somebody out for a cup of coffee. If you're a family, invite somebody over to go have dinner with you guys. It's as easy as that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just getting a bite to eat, going out, doing something. My wife, not too long ago, again, she went out with a group of friends. They got coffee, they ate lunch, and then they got their nails done. And then through it all, they were just fellowshipping, talking, man, just bearing each other's burdens, praying for one another. And that's the church. And so I think it's as easy as that.
I love this. And as a representative of the congregation, I feel encouraged. I always do when you give a challenge. I never feel like I can't do whatever it is that you're presenting. So I feel encouraged, but I also hear the objection.
Yeah.
So working with you students, you hit a hot button word. You said anxiety. Is that the word that you used? Anxiety. Oh boy, people carry their anxieties like pets.
Right.
Like they're proud to have them.
Yeah.
What do you say to the person whose objection is, but I'm an introvert?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Yeah. I think we all, for introverts, speaking specifically towards that, let me say this. My wife and I,
Yeah.
I mean, if I could classify us, we're introverts. And so a lot of people think we're extroverts because of our role, because I get up and speak in front of people.
Sure.
But man, when I recharge or when I refresh, I don't think of people. I think of just, I want to be by myself, or just a very, very small select group of people that, I can feel myself around. I can just be myself. And so for those of them who would say, oh, no, I'm an introvert, I'm not asking you to be an extrovert and meet everybody. Just go out and meet one person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's always at least one other person that you can build community with. And here's the thing, is that it takes courage.
Yeah.
It really does to step out. And then but don't let that label be an excuse for you to not practice community. I think sometimes we let labels kind of define us instead of practicing the word of God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think that's a great question though, because I think a lot of people would label themselves as introverts, and that's okay. Just go find your one other special introvert friend and then do something together.
That's a good word. I want to encourage you too, because I feel anyways, we tend to label ourselves and then get really fixated on the label that we've given ourselves.
Right, 100%.
As though it were the label the Lord gave us.
Right.
But we do it before we hear from Him.
Yeah. That's a good point.
If you think that you're an introvert, ask the Lord and see if He tells you, is this something that I've said or is this something that you've said? God's done that to me before, and that was wounding, but eye-opening also, so necessary.
Good,
so
yeah.
Thank you, man. That's helpful. That's helpful.
Yeah.
Follow-up question.
Okay.
So, and the second point that you had brought up, one of the points that you brought up, you had talked about how, Jesus says, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. So obviously the rock is Christ.
Jesus.
Yes.
Come on.
The Jesus is the rock that the church is built on, and it almost sounds like a given.
Right.
We know this.
Yeah.
But why is this, what do you see here?
Yeah.
What do you feel is relevant for me?
Dude, this is a really good question. So I love that we call this the leftovers because, again, we can't fit everything. So on Sunday, I gave one side of this coin where I said, it's not built upon a man because men are fallible.
Yeah.
Right? Man, we mess up. And then so if we're putting our hope in a man, or if we're building our relationship with God on a man, right? Yeah. Whether that be your pastor, a father figure, whoever else, it doesn't work.
Right.
The other lane, I should say, that this follows is also just when Jesus says on this rock, the revelation that He is the Lord, right? He's saying on this rock I will build my church. He's basically talking about a people who are built upon Him. And to be built upon him means that, man, we're his disciples, that we follow him, that we're being trained in the way of Jesus, right?
Yeah.
And then but here's the hard part though, is that I think there would be everyone here, right? All of you guys here at home, we would all say that we are trained by Jesus. Like that's who we're building our life upon. But is it really? Because I would suggest that especially in our very culture, in our very social media, or just media in general, driven culture, I would say that even though we would say it's Jesus, most of us here are being driven and discipled by something else. And so before we dive into that though, can you define for our viewers, our church family out there, when people say an algorithm,
Yeah.
what is an algorithm? Because somebody might not know what that is. Like in layman's terms, like if I were a fifth grader asking you what's an algorithm when it comes to YouTube or social media, like what do they mean by that?
All right. So I'm sorry. I'm deciding on which side of this to give it to you. Essentially, an algorithm is a digital salesman. Its design is to know you and how to sell to you. So every website that you use, every social media platform that you use collects all your information and decides how best to connect with you. The issue is that it's devoid of context. So it knows your internet patterns, but it does not know your soul patterns.
Yeah.
And so it might be able to give you what entertains you, but it will never give you what your soul needs.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Basically, 100%.
You said fifth grader, and I don't know. I'm a youth pastor, so it's like a couple year age gap there for me.
No, that's perfect, man. I think that's that. I love how you put it. You said it's like a salesman in your background that's
100%.
tracking everything that you're doing, watching, and then trying to come up with the next video or the next thing or the next news article
that will keep you there,
to send your way to keep you there and sucked in, right? And then so here's the problem though: is I've heard countless people say this. Is that nowadays, I think most of us, even though we say we're disciples of Jesus, I would say that most of us here are really disciples of an algorithm. Whether that algorithm is Fox News or CNN, whether that algorithm is based out of Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, I would say that most of us here, we're not being discipled by Jesus.
Right.
We're being discipled by an algorithm that keeps sucking us in and keeps bringing to our things, top of mind, that keeps bringing things, that occupy our mind.
Right.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with this. A couple months ago, I started the last book that John Eldredge wrote, and he said, in the very first chapter, he said that everybody I know is a modern day disciple of the internet. If you think about it, when you have a question, what's the first thing you turn to? Yeah. I said Google. My teenager said ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And it like you, as a disciple, like you're a disciple of whatever you turn to for answers. And yeah,
that's good, man.
And so again, like when you do church, where do you turn? Is it to an algorithm or is it to the community, the body of Christ? It definitely knows. Can I tell a short story on this one?
Yeah, man, for sure.
So I had one of my old youth students text me a video. It was an Instagram link, and it was a preacher. I think I couldn't tell you, and he's very rambunctious, for lack of a better word. And everything he said in the video was legit. It was true. It was good stuff. But the way that he said it was angry, and he texted and he wanted to know if I agreed with what the guy said. And so I basically told him, I was like, yeah, nothing you said was wrong, but also it didn't make me feel holy either. Right. It just made me angry. And I didn't think that was the heart of the Father. And I said, this is content online is not bad. Yeah. Christian content online, awesome. Yeah. You can get a 5-course meal online, but it's devoid of the nutrients that you need. Yeah. Because it doesn't know you. It doesn't know your context. Whereas Christ planted you somewhere. You're somewhere on purpose. And so the context, the nutrients that you need is going to be found in the community that he's put you in the church that he's put you in, and the authority, the pastor he's put over you, and the relationships that he's given you. And so you're much more likely to be discipled by Jesus when you are connected to
The church.
the context that he's planted you
Right.
in. Yeah, the small C church.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And it is really hard to do that online. I'm not saying that it's impossible. But it becomes really difficult just when you're online in general. You giving me a stat this morning, I think that 30% of ChatGPT use was for interrelational use.
Yeah.
I can't imagine
It's crazy.
chatting to ChatGPT for
People having relationships with
like
AI.
a relationship. And so it just, without you realizing it, online, you disengage relationally.
Yeah.
You can't hear tone.
Yeah.
You don't understand people's backgrounds. You miss out on the empathy that is required. And so again, I'm
So
not saying that it's
much.
impossible. It's just that like
Yeah.
this isn't the vision that Christ
Right.
had for you in as a small C church.
Yeah. So much so.
Yeah,
That's true.
I know that's a bit of a aside from the concept of church being the discipler.
Well, no,
Christ
man,
being
it's
the
all
discipler.
good. Yeah, I think I want to go back to something you said earlier when you said, how do you know what you're being discipled by? And you said the thing that you turn to for answers.
Yeah.
And I think, if I could just go a couple layers deeper, and probably some layers I shouldn't go, but it's all good. But I would even say too, just like where your mind rests, like the moment that you get a minute of free time, the moment that you pull up to a red light, and then you're there stuck in traffic, or you know what I mean, like when you are alone at home and whatever else, like where does your mind go? What's the first thing that you reach for? And I would say that if the majority of the time, if your mind doesn't rest in the Lord, then you're being discipled by. It's possible that you're probably being discipled by something else, that your mind reaches for that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll even say this is a part that I some people may say, oh, don't go there, but we go there, is I would even dare say too that, almost a little bit more than a year ago, the election, I think really revealed what a lot of people were being discipled by. Right, that
Very much
either
so.
you were that I think it revealed which news station you were watching, and that was being because here's the thing is that when the church starts aligning or identifying with one label or the other,
Right.
like that's when we missed it.
Yeah.
Because really, what we should be doing, the identity of the church, should be aligning and infiltrating both sides to come to this because both sides have great points, but the church should be aligning both sides and saying, hey, listen, like you're missing it here, like this is what the standard is of the Word of God.
I love that.
And I think that when we said one side or the other, it really showed, man, who are we disciples of? You know what I'm saying? And then so I think what's really cool though is that we're going to get another heat check. Was that 2024 elections happened?
I don't vote, so I'm just joking.
So,
I'm just joking.
So we get another heat check in about 2028,
Yeah.
and then so we'll see what we're being discipled by.
For what it's worth, I think it's getting better.
Yeah,
This last election was a lot better than 2020.
That's
in
cool.
terms of just disciples of Jesus.
that's cool.
I'll leave that.
Love
there,
it,
but
love it.
Yeah.
So we're disciples of the rock.
Yeah,
we're
disciples
built
of the
upon
rock.
the rock. Jesus Christ is Lord.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's good.
Amen.
All right, one more point. You had said, so when Jesus took his disciples and he was teaching them all these stuff, he was doing it in front of the gates of Hades, which was an actual place.
Yeah,
If you haven't watched the sermon, I highly suggest that you go back and listen to it because it was pretty revealing, I think. And this was also a place that you don't go to. You don't bring
100%.
quote you good Jewish boys to.
Yeah,
But he took them there, and that's where he decided to preach on the church.
Yo.
And he makes the comment, he says, the gates of Hades, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it.
yeah,
And here you made the point that God builds us up, but we have a part to play.
yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when he says the gates of Hades will not stand against it, right? Excuse me. What he's saying is that number one, gates represent power.
Sure.
And then so what he's saying is that the enemy has power. The enemy has power. Like he does have some limited power, authority that he's been allowed to have while here on this earth. He has power. But when he says that the gates of Hades, I will build my church and the gates of Hades will not stand against it, what he's saying is that the power that the enemy has is nothing compared to the power of the church. Or another way to say it is this, is that the only thing that can push against the agenda and the power of the enemy is this organization called the ecclesia, the church, the gathering of God's people.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. And so, listen, here's the thing is that, I have a background in biblical counseling. And then, so, a lot of issues emotionally as well too. Like I know like all those different things that we can talk about all day long. But here's the thing though, is that there is a spiritual force out there that is influencing people, influencing programs. And so it's not just all emotional things happening or, man, we just need mental health. Guys, I think that there are real spiritual forces out there.
Sure.
That Jesus is saying, hey, listen, the only thing that can combat them, right, isn't a good counselor, isn't a good therapist. Those things are great. You need to have them.
Sure. Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But he's saying that the only thing that can combat the enemy is this thing that he calls the church.
Yeah.
And so when we
agree.
come together in unity, right, man, like that's when he says, like, I will build my church again, gathering of people, and the powers of the enemy will not be able to stand against that. And so when he says that, I think there are two things. Number one, I think he's saying that you've been empowered, which, praise the Lord, we are empowered. But also the second thing he's implying is that he's given us a purpose.
Yeah.
Right? That we have a purpose to push against the agenda of the enemy. And so here's the thing, though, and I didn't get a chance to go too deep into this, but all of us have a way, have a different design that God's designed us to push against the gates of the enemy.
Yeah.
So it doesn't need to look like full-time ministry, but the Lord has given us some sort of ability that he's called us to push against the agenda of the enemy. And then, so we were actually talking about this like not too long ago, but, can you give some examples, Pastor Carl, of like different ways that people can do that outside of being in full-time ministry?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you are familiar with the C3 vision that we have here at the church, is our community, our city, and our county for Christ, that we're going to claim these things for Jesus. When that vision came to us, I think the question that followed it was, we were examining the community, we were examining the county, and we were examining the city, and we were asking, what do these places need? What does this need? That was the question. And as a result of that question, two things happened. One, the Lord revealed what the need was, and two, the Lord provided for the need.
Yeah.
And we were able to be there to, what's the term that I'm looking for? Facilitate that.
Yeah.
I don't want to say fulfill that, because was it easy? No. But also he connected so many dots that we didn't have our hands in.
Yep.
And it definitely had to be him. And that's not negating everybody's amazing hard work that came and showed up for things like Hope Packs.
Yeah.
Because those are massive undertakings. But the reason that I bring that up is because it doesn't take somebody in full-time ministry to look around and say, is there a need?
Right.
You do that every day.
Yeah.
You can do that 3 blocks down. You can do that in your own home. You can do that in your community, your workplace, recognizing the need and saying, Jesus, is there something we can do?
Yeah.
For better or for worse, asking is the rule of the kingdom of heaven. So when you observe and you ask, you literally put yourself in a position to be the lowercase c church, and allow the Lord to meet a need through you. That's churching, verb wise.
Yeah.
So does that answer your question?
It does. Yeah. I think I'm going to ask you a follow-up question to that, but I think individually, right, it can look as easy as like what you said, just asking, hey, like, what's the need I can meet?
Yeah.
And then, so I love it that, again, my friend, John Chastain, he came up with this phrase. He said, I'm a solution looking for a problem. And then, so you can meet a need at the parking lot in Giant, right? That when you see, an elderly person pushing a cart, and, you can help meet a need by, helping them load up their groceries or putting the cart back for them, right? When you're there, like what you said, at a park and somebody needs assistance in some sort of way, like just meet a need, and anybody can do that. And so a lot of people think, though, that in meeting those needs, that's not ministry.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It is. Like, you are literally pushing against the agenda of the enemy, like, because you're showing the fruits of the Spirit. Right. You're showing this, man, you're letting your light shine. And then, so I think, man, in those ways, we sell ourselves short when we don't think we're making a difference. Those things all make a difference.
Yeah.
But question to you though, because I think you've done a great job observing this, you've been a part of this, is that's individually, like they can just ask, hey, what need can I meet? Corporately, as the lowercase c church though, man, we feel like one of our core values and how we push against the enemy is that, man, we said we're not a church in the community, we're a church for the community. And man, specifically the lane that God's called us to be in. It's really cool, again, that the way the Lord's opened up opportunities, our teams, we do a great job there. We got Alyssa, we got Sandy Shriver, Julie Burns is helping out. I'm probably missing a lot of other people. But man, our lane is the schools. That's how we push against the enemy. And so what are some of those ways, if you wouldn't mind telling maybe somebody's tuning in and they don't know anything about our church, man, how do we help the schools around our area?
So the population of students in Chambersburg that are unhoused, I think is the term, is insane. The poverty line is also insane here in Chambersburg. And so what that means is basically you got a lot of hungry kids. Yeah. There's quite a few schools that are like 100% free and reduced meals. Right, yeah. Like my daughter attends the best school in elementary school in Chambersburg. It's 100% free and reduced. Wow. And so anyways, back before we even had the C3 Vision, we had Hope Packs, which was this thing where we would send students home with just bags full of food to get them through the weekend, so they're not showing up on Mondays without or with a hungry belly. Yeah. And so Hope Packs is probably one of the biggest ministries, I would say, that answers that question. Yeah. Corporately, how do we, what is there a need? Yeah. And so it's great because this is a many hands make light work situation. Right. This last year, we gave them, say, 20,000 meals away. No, like a little bit more than 10,000. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're good. A little more than 10,000. Yeah. Still, that way, still. If you include the season where, I don't know if you guys were paying attention, but the food stamps were gone for a little while there.
SNAP benefits.
Yeah. And so, we were fortunate enough that just everybody jumped in on that, and we were able to provide a ton of meals through that corporately because the need was presented and everyone said, I have something to give. Yeah. I think there was somebody in the congregation who had been saving up a significant chunk of money for something specific for himself. Power to you. There's literally nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But his heart had been convicted by it, and he said, this is what I can do. Yeah. Amen. And so corporately, again, he was able to give because corporately people were giving, and that was such a blessing. And
it's good, man.
And so that's just on the Hope Pack side. Again, if you look corporately, I would say this.
We even have the after school ministry.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
We have after school ministry going on, and then we do. Drive through. I don't know what you would call it. They're not food drives, but they literally drive through and pick up back
for the holiday food. Meals. Yeah, for the holiday kids' meals. Cuts for sure.
Kids' cuts, free haircuts.
Which, listen, if you have a child, listen to me right now. If you have a kid, please take them to get a good haircut. It is the difference between. I'm telling you, I did not get a good haircut for many, many years, and now I'm bald. So I had a very short window of good haircuts.
So are you telling them that if they don't give their kids good haircuts, they will get bald?
I'm telling you, maximize the amount of time that your child has confidence in themselves. I'm serious. I'm not joking aside. The haircut event is probably one of my favorite events of the year because dude, when money's tight, one of the first things that goes out the window is haircut money. Mm-hmm. And you take a number 2 and you usually buzz your kids. You give them a number 2 all over. It's the Zach Stout special. He looks good in it. Not everybody looks good in it. And so
the kids, tell them how the kids walked away though.
I'm telling you, it changes your cadence. Yeah. It changes the way that you feel about yourself. Right. And so anyways, one of the small corporate things that we do is a free haircut event.
Yeah. But we do things like that, just throughout the year. We just want to bless our schools. And so, and then
get your kids' haircut.
We take care of the staff. Yeah. Get them coffee, treats throughout the year. So we just want to be a blessing to our schools. And so if you're out there, you're an educator, you're working our school system, man, we love you. And man, we want to be here for you. So we thank you for everything that you guys do. So, so can I close this off real quick? So we hit on the church. And then I think at the very end of it, man, just the one question that I think I had us dwell on. And I think a great question for us to dwell on at home is this. Does the way that we practice church, does it align with God's desire for church? So in other words, when you think of church, is it just something that you do on Sunday morning from 10 to 11:30, and that's it? Or is church you getting together with other people who have been called out by God,
Yeah.
making sure that your lives are built up on Him, the rock, and then coming together to push against the enemy. So is there somewhere, some way that you're pushing against the enemy? Are you making sure that your life is built up upon Him, right? And again, is it just a building? Is church just a building, or is it actually something that we practice when we get together with other believers? And so if we're going to be the church, then we've got to make sure that the way we view it aligns to the way that God desired for it to be. And
Yeah.
when that happens, man, the gates of hell will not stand against it. And that's when we can push against things like poverty and depression and all those other things, man, that the enemy is trying to overcome the world with. That's when we can push against it, when we come together as a church. So does the way we practice align with God's vision for the church? And I think that's a great question for you to talk about, and to even say, how can we align further with that?
Right on.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for spending your Sunday morning with us. We're looking forward to seeing you again in person this week, hopefully Wednesday. And we're looking forward also to seeing you again on the Leftovers podcast ASAP.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and for allowing us to be in your home.
Right on.
See you guys.